So today at Costco Milton Keynes, whilst I was getting some tyres for my Tesla, I spotted that ID.3 out the back. So after I picked up my car, went over to VW, asked a few people if I could see the new ID.3, and then just so happens they bring it inside. Pretty good timing. So this video is just a bit of a brief look at the car, a walk around. There's been plenty of videos elsewhere, but I just thought a hands-on approach with a production car. This had just 12 miles on the clock, and I presume had just arrived brand new into Lancaster, Milton Keynes. They had flags and various bunting, etc. to go around the car. And yeah, so enjoy just a sort of rough and ready but fairly in-depth walk around and play with the ID.3. I think it's really odd from the outside. Certainly at the front it feels quite small, almost reminds me of the BMW i3, but from the rear it really reminds me of the normal sort of Golf GTI style of car, so plenty of space. You can see here. Not sure I'm a fan of the front. Maybe with the lights on it's a bit better. This was a first edition, so I think it's basically their top spec car for those that pre-ordered the car nice and early. I thought it was interesting to see this wiper blade layout, quite unique. And then of course there's CCS at 125 kilowatt. An interesting addition. Yeah, I don't know why they went with that engine button. They should have just copied what Tesla did. The seats are pretty nice, like an Alcantara style outer edge with a fabric and a pause and play button for the pedals. Plenty of space, but you still have like in front there that area where you couldn't really fit much, maybe a newspaper, but not much more. And you do have USB-C both here and towards the centre as well. And these lights are pretty cool, sort of touch sensitive. Pretty sure it's probably pretty standard on most lights these days in cars. Bit of interior lighting as well, and the gear selector, a bit like the i3. Sadly this was just a showroom car, so I couldn't get to drive it. Not sure I'm a fan of the white steering wheel and interior. Feels like it's going to mark easily. I'm more of a fan of sort of a black interior personally, but everyone's different. These materials felt a bit cheap, to be honest. This car is £38,880 minus the £3,000 plug-in grant. These buttons remind me of my old BlackBerry Bold, I think it was called, where it's sort of touch sensitive, but you sort of have to click it as well. Not a massive fan, but I think they're trying to cater for people that love loads of buttons, so this is sort of a cross between that and something like the Model 3, which is all touch. Now I think pretty much everyone is aware that VW have had massive problems with the software in these cars, and I have no idea of version numbers of this particular vehicle, but it's obviously a car on display inside a sales room ready to be sold, and it's pretty poor. It's very sluggish, very slow in many ways, and I think it really just showcases again how great something like the Tesla Model 3 is for value, but also spec. It's again the basics of like, I'm at a supercharger, I'm charging, what can I do? Well, I can go on my phone, or I can sit there and watch YouTube on my car, or Netflix on my car, or Twitch on my car, or whatever it is. And it's like, this is a 2020 model from VW, and it doesn't have that sort of stuff. And it's like, you guys need to catch up. You might do eventually, but at the moment you're way behind, which is a shame, because I'm sure this car will be great. Although VW have announced that they will be launching Apple CarPlay and Google Auto, so that's a plus, because lots of Tesla owners do want that. And this is the frustrating thing of, this is an EV. Why have VW not gone down the approach like Tesla have, where you jump in the car, press navigate to a certain location, and it will simply tell you, right, you need to charge here for 20 minutes. That is such a useful thing, and and these legacy car companies that are sort of trying to catch up with the likes of Tesla seem to continuously miss this basic thing, which is so frustrating. Unless I did it wrong, which potentially is, but it's certainly not obvious from my sort of 20 minutes playing with it, how to actually just navigate to somewhere, tell me where I need to charge. Yeah, just pretty bad. So you can see on the map here the sort of light circle around Milton Keynes, going up to sort of Birmingham. That was showing our sort of total range available. Very similar actually to the Hyundai Kona that we've got, probably also the Kia Niro. But yeah, just like it's a 355 mile route, but at no point does it say you'll need to charge here. It's like, how basic is this thing? Like, come on. So you can see on this driver screen, we were probably at a third full, if that, 69 miles range. So this next clip sort of showcases the voice commands on the car,
nearby charger.
I'm sure will improve. It felt pretty awful, I must admit.
Pausing voice control.
Find nearby charger. Find nearby charger.
The thing I do really like is this white line thing, which is reminds me of sort of kit.
Search for charging station nearby. Please select.
But as you can see,
POI
this
from the
system
list.
really isn't very intuitive. Again, it could be down to user error.
OK, 350 kilowatts Ionity Milton Keynes. Milton Keynes coach.
So again, I know it's bad because I'm going from a Tesla, but it's like I've got no information about this charger that I'm supposedly going to. How many bays are there? What's the charge rate I'm expected? How do I pay for it? There's none of that information. Again, it's just like, come on, it's the basics. And yeah, it's probably because I'm coming from a Tesla, which has all this stuff and has had it for the last, N years, but it just feels frustrating. They can find out about the petrol station though. That's got more information. And a bit like our old Nissan Leaf, it comes up with this welcome your cars online. Click this button basically every time you get in the car to confirm you're happy with sending information to VW. I don't know if you can stop that appearing. Hopefully you can. We certainly couldn't on our Nissan Leaf. It was a real pain in the arse. But yeah, aircon unit seemed not very good, purely for the fact it wouldn't work. But I think it was presumably because the car wasn't in drive and I didn't have the key on me. It was with the manager. I'm sure it's fine. Just was a bit frustrating trying to work out why things wouldn't work. It just doesn't, if it said keys not in car, as you can see there actually it says please switch on the air conditioning, but it's like, well, how do I do that? Was it these buttons? It seemed like it sort of was in the end. I think I eventually got it to work. Climate, press climate and it comes up with another page. It's like, what? Yeah, needs improvement, I think is the short answer. What was quite cool was there's a little screen / button area to the right of that main display, which works your lights, things like fogs, etc. I think that's actually great, and it's something that I think something like the Model 3 I think is lacking, just another little touch sensitive button area where the buttons are always going to be there and it's nice and easy to turn the basics on. But with this main screen, I just feel like you never really know what you're pressing and what it's doing. Obviously it's a new car, I've never been in this car before, so everything's going to be slightly different, but yeah, not great.
What can I say?
You can use voice control to operate the radio and media, navigation system, telephone and air conditioning. For example, say, drive to Displaying overview. Voice control cancelled. To start voice control again, please press the push to talk button.
And I know I'm sort of going over the voice commands possibly a little bit too much here, but these are the ones that are available for you to talk to the car with. And I think actually there's probably about the same, maybe a bit more than a Tesla has.
Open the sun blind.
Sorry, your vehicle does not have a
I think if VW sorted this system out and did the sort of changes that I think most EV owners would want, it could be a great car. So going to the back of the car, it's a typical VW, decent sized boot, bit of a lip to get into it, plenty of anchor points, an interesting little space down there. I should really stop comparing it to Tesla's, but yeah, there's not a big bit of space here, but yeah, it is what it is. Ideal for the odd cable. That's the leather bound book. And yeah, first aid kit, reflective jacket, tow hook, and locking wheel nuts. So yeah, the boot's pretty decent. Blacked out glass on the back. It's certainly bigger than our Kona. So you can see here sort of just that lip, as I was saying. And yeah, the back's, I actually think that's probably the best angle for it. This is the frunk, which, as I'm sure you're about to guess, has no storage space in it. A bit like our Hyundai Kona. And that's a shame really, because this is an EV from the ground up. Now going round, I was just looking for sort of imperfections really. It's being overly picky, but I think Tesla always get a bad rep, so someone like VW, who've been doing this for a few extra years, should have this sort of stuff nailed down. There was a few marks on it. I presume this car was a new car, but I guess it could have gone round various circuits being shown off first. So this is the other weird thing, and I think it's just with the first edition. It's like it's literally a stick-on vinyl on the back here. I don't know if I'd want that. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So the VW ID.3, good all round. Shame it doesn't have a decent supercharger network, but I think companies like Ionity and now companies like GridServe are hopefully going to help cars like this compete with the big boys like Tesla. Hopefully you found this video useful, and if you have, or if you want to see other content similar to this, be sure to subscribe. Cheers.